When I don't have enough clients, I tend to feel useless. When I feel useless, I tell myself I'm unworthy,
Mhm.
not value. Over time, that became I need to learn more to increase my value. This is not a story, it's a structure. I see the difference.
There's a specific moment, and you know what that moment is. You've experienced that moment. You work hard, you put in the reps, you study, you practice, you hire the coaches, you hire to help you get to where it is that you desire to be. But no matter what happens, you come up against a wall. It's like an invisible wall, and you keep bumping your nose against it. And that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of self-talk and self-thought that can be damaging. If this sounds like you, then stay with me, because there is a you on the other side of what you've been doing. And the key to that is something that you haven't done yet. The key to who you're meant to be is on the other side of something you have not done yet. And in this video, we're going to talk about your heart-led entrepreneur. And building something that really matters in service to humanity is a calling for you, and you feel it viscerally in your bones. But your body's contracting, your mind's contracting, and it's going 90 miles an hour with gusts up to 120. You can't seem to get through. It's not a willpower issue. It's not a self-discipline issue. It's not an effort issue. It's a structural issue, a structure that is in your nervous system. Now, here's the good news. Like architecture, structures can be updated, rebuilt, refined.
Okay, when I don't have enough clients, I tend to feel useless.
Yeah.
When I feel useless, I tell myself I'm unworthy,
Mhm.
not value.
Yeah.
Over time, that became I need to learn more to increase my value. This is not a story, it's a structure. I see the difference.
That is the moment when everything shifts. When you see it as a structure, not as a character flaw, you have access to it in a completely different way.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, beautiful. Congratulations. That's the work that I do. The key to that work, like any good plan, is understanding this one thing. Capacity follows safety. Your ability to create a new structure follows safety. Let that sink into your body. Learn to work with the system, not against it. When we work with the system, we acknowledge what happened, make peace with what happened or what's happening, and we start to rewrite the meaning. My story, my meaning began back on July 3rd, 1977, when the doctor pulled the curtain back and peeked his head in and said, "Ma'am, I need to prepare you. If your son survives this aneurysm, he will be significantly disabled for the rest of his life." And those words went into this body. Even though I was in a coma at the time when he said these words, auditory nerve is always listening. Those words went into this body, and I created a story that said, I am sick, I am ill, I am not well. And that led to a series of significantly challenging health events. It started in 1977. I finally began to make peace with these in 2016, when a colleague, mentor, and friend said, 2 words, stop it. And that was a shift that turned my life in another direction. Does that mean it became very easy after that? Heck no. That's when the real challenges began. That's when the real fight began. That's when I had to push my way through a stronger capacity, gain greater access. It was in that time of learning and struggle that my greatest gifts were revealed to me. It was at that time that I recalled an NDE that I had back in 2000 and 2002, grand mal seizure. And I went out to the edge of the universe where time folds back on itself. And in that state of complete peace and rest and relaxation, I started downloading, receiving a lot of information very, very quickly. For the next 4 days, I started to process that awareness in my mind. I came up with a concept called modern inversion. What if We have access at the bottom of the pyramid, and on either side we have capacity and identity. And the more we develop our identity and our capacity to hold that identity, the stronger access becomes. Access being the foundational component. So in modern inversion, what happens if we flip that pyramid upside down? And capacity and identity, capacity, identity, capacity, identity, capacity, identity, back and forth, creates a tremendously expanding access to the truth of who you truly are. And what if the access to the truth of who you truly are is infinite by increasing identity and capacity? Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So you like literally scamper up a wall. It is infinite. And you would actually enjoy the process of doing that. How would your life be different? James Allen said it this way: the oak sleeps in the acorn, and the bird waits in the egg, and in the highest vision of the soul, a waking angel stirs. Dreams are the seedlings of reality. To experience modern inversion, I'm going to give you another key, and that key is ASK. The ASK framework is: A stands for attitude. Do I have a positive attitude or a negative attitude? S stands for self-talk and self-thought. I pay attention to what I say because I'm listening. I pay attention to what I think because I'm listening. And K for kindness. Am I being kind to myself, and am I being kind to other people? That's ASK. So when we get those in order, modern inversion becomes a much more powerful practice. Now, the way to kick this off is through self-hypnosis. That calms the murky waters, that calms the monkey mind, and it gives us the ability to selectively focus on a desired outcome. When we focus on a desired outcome, we then guide ourselves in a way that's desirable. As opposed to letting life ride us, we direct our awareness and ride life in a way. I was fortunate enough to be one of 5 hypnotherapists that was selected to be a practitioner in a 4-year, $3 million NIH study that compared hypnotherapy and mind power with drug therapy in the treatment of a significant disease that over 30 million women in the United States of America alone suffer from. And in the long run, after the scientific validation process, the peer review, and all the statistical analysis, it was discovered that mind power and hypnotherapy, these tools, in the long run, created a more durable, positive outcome. Mind power.
I have had a repetitive theme go through my head, which I don't always listen to, but a negative thing, which is when I feel trapped. Like, oh, I can't do what I want because of this or that or the other. And I'm talking about a big life way. This was a very deep hypnosis for me. I was gone and I really was in there. And I noticed that I'm completely free.
Mm.
Which goes right to whichever statement we wrote. Well, say the negative self-talk is I'm entrapped in whatever situation. And the positive contradiction is I move freely through my world with strength, service, and creative expression.
One session, that experience exists inside of her now. And that's what's available to you. Think about it. I want you to take a breath in, hold it, and let it out. And then notice how perhaps you calmed your state right then and there. That is intentional. And in that state of intentionality, you have the power to direct your mind towards an outcome that you desire. The start is self-hypnosis, calming the central nervous system, activating peace, making decisions to become more powerful in our mind, more powerful in our body, and more powerful in the work that we do. On June 13th from 3 to 5 p.m. Mountain Time, it's a Saturday, I'm going to be teaching a technique that's going to support you in calming your mind so that you can create more power in your mind, more power in your body, and more power in your work. It's a foundational tool. It's what the 4-year, $3 million NIH study was based on, a self-hypnosis practice. You're going to learn that. Now, after we learn to calm the mind and become a better, more calm version of ourselves, we can then look at how we are showing up in life, how we are using unconsciousness against us, how we can reframe old meanings to a more empowered version of ourselves, and then how we can empower ourselves and step into that new version of ourselves and live the life we desire to live. And that leads into the 5-day identity reclamation challenge for women entrepreneurs who want to strengthen their mind, their body, and their work. And over those 5 days, we will examine the obstacles and roadblocks that keep us self-sabotage, that keep us from stepping through that imaginary veil that's in the nervous system. In last month's cohort, Lisa said, "I am no longer comfortable ignoring my entrepreneurial goals." That is not a motivation shift. That is an identity shift. And it's live and it's free. So I'll drop the registration link for both events in the comments. Go ahead and drop a comment and let me know what you think about this video. I read each comment and I answer each comment. It's Christian Raphael, medical support, clinical hypnotherapist. Until next time, be kind, be well, be a blessing.